The purpose of this spreadsheet is to better organize the financial records of the Ring family farm. The first step for this assignment was to create a documentation sheet to include my name, date, and purpose of the spreadsheet. The next step was to create an Excel table in the expenditures worksheet and rename the table as checkbook. Then I replaced the category code farm in each record with payroll by using find and replace in editing. The next step was to make a copy of the expenditures worksheet and rename it Q5. I did that by right-clicking on the expenditures worksheet on the bottom and selected Move or Copy, renamed it, then dragged it to the end. The next step was to sort the checkbook table in ascending order by category, then by payee, and then by date paid. To do that, I went to Data, clicked on Sort, selected Category, added a level, selected Payee, added another level, and selected Date Paid with the newest first. Step 6 was to make another copy of the expenditures worksheet, naming it Q6. Next, I filtered the checkbook table to display all expenditures for equipment and repairs in December, and then sorted by smallest amount first. To do that, I went to the category filter arrow and selected Equipment and Repairs. Next, I clicked on the Date Paid filter arrow and made it that it only shows for the month of December. Then in Amount, I sorted it to show the smallest amount first. Step 7 was to make a copy of the expenditures worksheet and rename it Q7. Filter the checkbook table to display all the checks that include the word vet in the payee's name and include the total amount at the bottom of the table. To do that, I went to the payee filter, went to text filter, clicked on contains, and typed in the word vet, which narrowed it down to these three you see here. Next, I added a total row by going to the Table Tools Design ribbon and checking the box Total Row, clicking on the arrow here, and choosing Sum. For step 8, I made another copy of the expenditures worksheet, named it Q8, and used conditional formatting to highlight the outstanding checks in yellow. For step 9, I made another copy of the expenditures worksheet, named it Q9, and added subtotals to display the total amount for each category. To do that, I went into Data, clicked on Subtotal, selected at each change in category, then selected Sum. For step 10, I inserted a pivot table in a new worksheet and named it Q10 to 11 that summarizes expenditures by category and month. I checked and dragged category to the row labels area, checked and dragged date paid into the column labels area, then checked and dragged amount into the values area. For step 11, I inserted a pivot chart with the clustered column chart type. To do that, I went to the Pivot Tables option ribbon, clicked on Pivot Chart, and selected the Clustered Column option. For the last step, I created another pivot table in a new worksheet, naming it Q12, to sort the total amounts in descending order and shows the percentages of the totals. To do that, I clicked and dragged category into the row area, clicked and dragged the amount into the values area. To add the percentage of the totals, I clicked and dragged the amount into the values area and changed it from sum of total to percentage of total. The final step was to sort the percentages to largest to smallest. Pivot tables are very helpful because they enable the user to turn or pivot the data from an Excel spreadsheet and examine it from various perspectives to extract the information needed and quickly summarizing large amounts of data. A pivot chart is a graphical representation of the information in a pivot table. Changes that you make to the layout and data in the associated pivot table are immediately reflected in the layout and data in the pivot chart. The pivot tables for this particular spreadsheet summarize the farm's expenses by category and month as seen in sheet Q10 to 11. The pivot chart on sheet 12 shows the farm's expenses, including the total and percentage of total for each category in descending order.